If you spend more than 5 minutes on social media a day after starting GLP-1, I bet you've probably heard the same controversial advice over and over again. Come on, bro, just eat more protein. It's not that hard. One person is going to tell you to eat 80 grams of protein. Someone else is going to say you need 120. Then some other person is going to pop up and say you need 150 grams of protein. You're going to lose all your muscle. So who's actually right? How much protein do you actually need? Well, luckily for you, today I'm going to show you what the research actually says, how I apply it with my current clients, and how I can help you figure out a realistic protein target without getting overwhelmed or having to spend all your time in the kitchen. Welcome back to After the Shot, where the weight loss begins and the real transformation begins. Let's start off with the biggest misconception here. There isn't going to be one magic protein number that's going to work for everyone. Your protein intake is going to depend on your body size, your activity level, your age, your goals, and most importantly, whether you're resistance training or not. That's why simply copying someone else's protein target from TikTok usually doesn't make sense and isn't going to work for you. But here's what we do know from the research. When you're doing any sort of weight loss journey, especially in a very strong caloric deficit, your protein needs are going to increase because your body is trying to preserve as much lean muscle mass as you can while burning as much fat mass as you can. Now it's time for a new segment I'm going to be introducing here and carrying through my other videos called The Truth Shot. And this is going to be where I tackle viral topics and simply myth bust them. Now it's time for today's Truth Shot. Research consistently shows that during any sort of weight loss, people will significantly benefit from consuming anywhere between 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day to help preserve lean mass. So if you're resistance training consistently and your goal is to maximize muscle retention, aiming toward the higher end of that range, and in some cases even upwards of 2.2 grams per kilogram of lean body mass, may actually provide additional benefit. Now, don't worry. You don't need to do this complicated math every single time, and you don't need to do this every single day. Here's how I'm going to make this practical for you. Imagine someone weighs 200 pounds, roughly 91 kilos. Using that evidence-based range that we just talked about, they'd be aiming for somewhere between 110 to 145 grams of protein per day. Now, if someone weighs 150 pounds or roughly 68 kilograms, they're going to be looking for roughly 80 to 110 grams a day. Now, these numbers aren't by any means perfect, but they're starting points. And that's a way better approach than just blindly chasing whatever random number someone on Instagram tells you because they're steroided up and they're huge. Now, here's where GLP-1 medications actually create a unique challenge. I get it. I know your appetite's going to go down. People are naturally going to eat less, sometimes a lot less. And while that's great for naturally creating a caloric deficit, I understand that it also makes it significantly harder to overeat your protein or to meet your protein levels. And I've seen people go from eating 3 balanced meals a day to skipping breakfast, eating half a sandwich for lunch, and then barely touching dinner because, well, they simply aren't hungry. And this is great because the weight is going to come off, don't get me wrong, but your protein intake is going to suffer. And that's something you want to avoid in general. One thing I do not recommend is trying to force feed yourself 180 to 200 grams of protein per day because someone online said that's the secret. I'm not going to tell you that, that's for sure. More doesn't always mean better. Once you're consistently hitting an appropriate intake for your body and your goals, the extra benefit, well, it starts to level off. Because nutrition is not about perfection, it's about consistency. So instead of obsessing over one huge giant daily number of protein, what I'll do is I'll encourage most of my clients to think about protein meal by meal. Let me break it down for you. For example, for breakfast, I want you to aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein. For lunch, 30 to 40 grams of protein. For dinner, another 30 to 40 grams of protein. And if you absolutely need it or if you're really hungry by the end of the night, a protein shake, some Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or some other high protein snack that can easily add 20 to 30 grams for your daily count. Suddenly, well, you've reached 110 to 130 grams of protein without feeling like you're forcing down meals. And that's much more realistic for someone taking a GLP-1, breaking it up meal by meal. Another question I get all the time is, well, what if I'm not hungry? And honestly, yeah, that is one of the biggest challenges that we're all going to face with these medications. And this is why planning your meals out becomes significantly more important than just walking into the kitchen and eating. Sometimes choosing softer proteins like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs, or even an easily digesting protein shake can make hitting your protein target significantly easier than stuffing down chicken breast. Remember, when you're eating less food overall, every single bite becomes more valuable and more important. So I need you to prioritize foods that give you the biggest nutritional return. But let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. People often think protein is only about building muscle, but it's not. Protein helps you preserve lean mass during extreme weight loss. It supports recovery from exercise and fuels your muscle. It keeps you fuller for longer because it's very hard to break it down. And when paired with a strong resistance training program, it gives your body all the signals it needs and the building blocks to maintain all your muscle mass while losing fat. Let's do another analogy. I love analogies. Think of it like building a house. Strength training tells your body, this house, yeah, it's important. Protein is going to provide the bricks. But guess what? You need both. One without the other isn't going to be nearly effective. So here's the biggest takeaway I want to leave with you today. Do not chase someone else's protein goal because they're big and they have some sort of credibility. Build your meals around your protein intake first. Stay consistent, strength train regularly, and use the evidence-based ranges that I gave you instead of using some sort of social media guess. Sustainable results, they're not going to be built from eating perfect on day one. Understand that now. But they're going to be built from all the small things you do on a day-to-day basis. And I want to leave you with one final thought here, okay? Don't ask yourself at the end of the day, did I eat enough protein today? Ask yourself this instead. Did I give my body enough reason to keep its muscle? Were the resources adequate? Because every gram of protein isn't just going to feed your body today. It's helping you protect the body that you're trying to have a year from now, 2 years from now, even 10 years from now. In the next episode of After the Shot, what we're going to be doing is talking about something that almost every GLP-1 user experiences, but only few people truly understand this. Food noise. What it actually is, why GLP-1 medications reduce it, and more importantly, how to make sure that it simply does not take control of your life again once the medication stops or changes. See you in the next episode.